Welcome to the SYLBOURNE Show, and I'm your host, Sydial. And joining us today, we have an acclaimed life coach, an inspirational speaker, author, and gifted entertaining Toastmaster of ceremony. His name is Charles Emeka. And if you look, you'll see briefly a brief excerpt of him there.
If you know you want smashing up JD on football, clap your hands. If you know you want carrying out national street TVs, clap your hands. If you know where you're going to sleep tonight, clap your hands. If you know your mind is set, clap your hands. Come on, come on, come on. Put your hands together and bless the name of the Lord. Put your hands together because you're in the house of the Lord. Put your hands together because you're not going to walk tonight. Come on, keep those hands. Come on, the fact that you're alive, that's enough reason to put your hands together and bless the name. Everybody, just quickly stand to your feet just quickly.
Welcome, Charles.
Thank you.
It's nice seeing you.
You too.
I was watching that clip a while ago, and that was a mouthful. You know, when I say a mouthful, the amount of things that you do, you know. The clip which was there, I'm reading your bio, it is very quite diverse, you know. How do you do it all? Have you got a clone somewhere or something like that? How do you do it all? Tell us.
There is no clone of me, but I am the child that the village raised.
Yes.
So my parents raised me in terms of providing education for me, but I've been fortunate to have many mentors, and each of these individuals has had a say in who I am today. So it allows me to do various things at the same time, and also understanding that I've lost quite a bit of time. I need to redeem that time. So now is not a time for me to rest, but to keep moving. I can come back later and admire my body of work, but that's not the focus right now.
It's very interesting that you say many mentors. That's what you said, many mentors.
Yes.
And if you watch the show, one of the key things that keep coming up at time is mentorship and mentees.
Yes.
And then I listen also again to the government, with the government policies in the UK about apprenticeship program, internship program. They're all about mentorship and mentees at the same time. It's like you go into a business place, whatever, a director, whatever, becomes a mentor. I'm going to touch this back another time, and I want to make sure that the audience, you really remember this point about mentorship, mentee, comes in all different formats. I just went off script a while ago, Charles, you know, but it's very exciting. Now, tell me now, 10 books, right? How did you manage at this tender age of 21 to have 10 books? Is it 21 age? I mean, you don't have to say it.
I wish I was 21.
Okay.
I wish I was 21.
Yeah.
If you've written one book, you can write 100.
Right, right.
Once you operate, each and every single one of us has natural gifts and talents.
Yes.
It's just about you finding out what those gifts and talents are.
Yes.
So I'm an information entrepreneur. That's what I am.
Right.
Part of it is a gift, and then the other half is working on the gift. So once you recognize what you have been endowed with, then keep on working on polishing that gift. So if you've been in a fight before,
yes.
If you've been in one fight, you've never been in a fight, well, you know.
Because I always win, so I don't know.
So if you've done something once, you can do it again.
Right.
If you've written one book,
yeah,
you can write another book.
So therefore, it is to start the process.
Absolutely.
Now, of the books, Against All Odds,
Yep.
it's about overcoming diversity, and I'm looking at it here now, and it talks about your journey to becoming who you are. It talks about, tell us, you know, what is the experience that actually made this book? Because, because when I hear Against All Odds, I started to think about the song, and I'm saying, Against All Odds, who owns the rights to Against All Odds? Tell us about Against All Odds, Charles.
Against All Odds is the first stage of my life.
Yes.
The first stage of my life, every part of my life has been about overcoming the odds.
Yes.
Overcoming the odds from I was born premature.
Yes.
Overcoming the odds that I stopped breathing at childbirth. Overcoming the odds that I was abused as a child.
Right.
Overcoming the odds I was bullied as a child. Overcoming the odds that I couldn't read till I was about 14 and a half years of age.
Right.
Overcoming the odds that I got involved in crime and gang activity. Went to prison at an earlier age, well, not so early, 2000. I was in prison in the year 2000.
Okay.
Overcoming the odds of now having a criminal record and job opportunities being limited and hindered because of yesterday's activity. Overcoming the odds simply because I'm a black man.
Right, right.
So at every stage, there's always been like a wall in front of me. But I'm just the kind of individual, if you say to me I can't do something, we're going to find out if I can do it or not.
That's powerful, Charles. And I mean, I just hope that the viewers actually is picking up what is happening here. I mean, against all odds, as you can see, the book here, wherever, you know, let's plug it, Charles, you know, you can get this book, Against All Odds. Let me get the royalties for it, if anything. But that is really powerful, Charles, and it's not something to be scoffed at lightly. And recently, one of the president of America was in Jamaica, and he talks about when someone asked him a question about marijuana, and he said it's unfortunate that someone who is not a violent person, not a criminal, just get a criminal record just by maybe having the marijuana. And he said it's a bit unfair. And what you're saying now is about persons being affected in the future by something in the past, and then they are limited.
Yes, sir.
But at the same time, what you're saying is that no matter what you're going through, you can overcome if you got the will. And you said something further, Charles, is that if you say I can't do it, let's see if I can't.
Absolutely.
Tell us more.
I came out of prison.
Yeah.
I went to Wandsworth prison.
Yeah.
When I came out of prison, I decided to go to university.
Yeah.
On graduating, I started looking for work.
Yes.
And there's always that question at the bottom of the paper that says, is there anything you've done in your past?
Oh, yeah.
You know, that question.
Yeah.
So I was trying to turn over a new leaf. So I was very honest. Went for 30 job interviews, and I got 30, you know, smiles. You're a great guy, Charles. You're going to go far in life, Charles. You're full of so much potential. But unfortunately, on this occasion, we're going to keep your CV on file.
Yes.
At that point in time, I didn't need my CV to be kept on file.
Yes.
I needed work. I used to be a drug dealer that made £5,000 a week.
Yes.
So I need money, and if something doesn't happen quickly, I'm going to go back to the lifestyle I used to live before. So fortunately for me, I was able to just find the right people at the right time that said, listen, you're a rough diamond.
You know, you said something a while ago, and those guys were right. There was one thing they were right with. Do you know what they were right with? Tell me what they were right with.
Tell me, I'm not sure.
I tell you what they were right with. You're going to go far. Because when I listened to you mentioned about you know, good guy and everything, there's one thing which they said, you're going to go far. Yeah. Because maybe sometimes people see things, but they are sometimes constrained by the system. But they said, you're going to go far. And this is also something which is powerful because of words which are spoken of our lives, words which are negative. But sometimes, we sometimes can grab that one word. And for me personally, one of the reasons why I've invited you to this show, because I consider you an inspiring person. And I want this show to go far, Charles, so I get people on the show who are going far with me.
Yeah. Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah,
I think everything about the setup that I've seen is really good.
Fantastic.
Keep going.
Yes,
keep
good.
going.
Now, the other bit now, in your words, you know, you want to impact of your collective work as, you know, how do you want to be remembered, the Charles Emeka, by your children, and the generation, the legacy?
I think you covered the words there.
Yeah.
I simply want to impact my generation.
Yes.
You don't go through as much as I've been through for yourself.
Yes.
And everything that's in you and everything that God places in you isn't for you.
Yeah.
It's to serve humanity. Yeah. It's to serve your community, your nation, the nations. Yeah. So as long as I'm remembered for making, I remember one of the times I was speaking at the Shaftesbury Theatre, and a guy came up to me and said, I've just come out of prison. I was planning to kill myself today. So that's enough. Yeah. I've had a lady who had terminal cancer. She said, if you can overcome everything you've gone through, then I'm going to fight. Yeah. So you don't realize the impact of your words. But my ultimate message, and my message will stay the same, is it doesn't matter where you're coming from or what you've been through. Don't give in. Don't give up.
Yes.
Work on yourself, invest in yourself, and things will change.
That's powerful. That's powerful. So therefore, you know, I'm pretty sure then that you are considered as a role model. And what does it take to be a good role model, Charles?
I don't know if I consider myself to be a role model. I am just living my life and just hoping that there is something about me that can encourage you to live your life. Hopefully just making a difference one person at a time. A role model, if there's anything about me that encourages somebody to be better, do more, earn more, learn more, great. Role model.
But it's good. I mean, humility is good at all times,
You know.
Charles. You know what I'm saying?
no,
I'm not teasing. I'm not teasing.
You know, because there are still areas of my life that I'm working on. Which one, if somebody knew what those areas was, I wouldn't be a role model anymore.
Now, people are, what should I say, and this is the right way I could say it. Who then would you consider as your role model?
I have a series of role models. For example, in terms of mentors, we spoke about mentors earlier on. I have a mentor for every aspect of my life. I have a money mentor.
That's very interesting.
I have speaking, because you can't be good at everything. So I glean what I need from SYLBOURNE for a particular thing.
I rap. I do music.
Okay, so
I can do some rap songs for you.
So you know, you could help me in the area of rapping. Okay. So I have a marriage mentor, money mentor, a speaking mentor, a training mentor, mentors that guide me in areas of writing books. Also, just mentor about being a man.
So that's very interesting now, because what you're spreading the whole dynamics of the whole mentorship program at the same time, whereby most persons sometimes will have just one mentor.
You can't have everything in one person. You can't have everything in one person, and that person also has flaws. And when you get close enough to the mentor, you will see their weaknesses as well, and you know.
Well, I mean, I'd like to invite the audience as well at times to write in and go to the website www.sylbourne.com, and also give us your views as to mentorship and mentees, and your views as well, because it would help. Because what we're finding that is the shows tend to hit a lot on these particular areas, and as you know, it's an inspirational, motivational, educational show. We want to do that. Charles, another thing, you're an empowerment advocate, and that is youth.
Yes, sir.
Dealing with youth, youth-related program. What's the interaction with youths, and how is that?
Well, I'm fortunate enough that I work in most of the secondary schools in London and outside London. Majorly involved with a lot of churches and their youth ministries. Most of the young people, I consider myself to be fortunate. I would go as far as using the word blessed. Because there are a lot of young people that I see and meet in prison. They made one mistake. They were in the wrong place at the wrong time on one occasion. I had a body of mistakes. And I am where I am today. And some young people, just one mistake, and the system doesn't help them to shift and change location after they've made that mistake. So, I mean, usually when I go into prisons, they usually say, you don't know what it's like. You don't know what our world is like. And when I say I used to wear that same uniform you're wearing now, then... So if you want something bad enough, you'll find a way. If not, you'll find an excuse. And that's my message to young people.
That's very interesting. Good.
You know.
Now, one of the roles as it encompasses as a youth advocate. Now, I want you to give something to persons like yourself are expensive to sit with. And so I want to give to the people, give to the audience an overview of what you focus on at some of these sessions with the empowerment program.
Okay.
I don't know which camera which you look at.
Okay. Number one, power of association. Association is key. Association is critical. You will always react and respond and speak like the 5 people you spend the most time with. Number two, people say to me, how are you where you are now? And the main thing I would say is, readers are leaders. Those that don't read will always depend on those that do read. So pick up a book. If you change your reading habits, if you start reading, you're also going to change your language. And when you change your language, you start to see more options in your mind. So those are 2 things. Association, start reading, but also make a decision that I'm going to succeed. I'm going to win against all odds.
Wow.
You know.
Now, I think that points into the next question. So how do you define success then?
Okay. First of all, I would say that success is not out there. It's in you. The answers you're looking for are within you.
Right.
So each and every single one of us has some natural gifts and talents.
Yes.
Develop, enhance, polish those gifts and talents, and fulfill the potential that you carry, you're successful.
Right.
But if those gifts, talents, your mission, your assignment, your calling lay dormant for the whole of your life, and then you take those gifts, those talents, those books, those businesses, whatever the case may be, if your generation never gets to experience them, that's one of the reasons why I write.
Yeah.
When I stand and speak to an audience, I get a standing ovation.
Yes.
It's done. And most of the words die in that room there. Zig Ziglar said that motivation is like having a hot bath. It doesn't last very long. But when I write a book, that book will still be here long after I'm gone.
I'm glad you said it because it's something I read in your bio, and I'm glad you brought it up about the words living forever.
Yes.
At the same time.
Absolutely.
That's powerful. Now, there's so much, Charles, that I could go into. What is next for Charles?
Well, at this stage, I've been involved in numerous businesses, and you know, and right now I'm coming back to purpose.
Yes.
So everything that is not connected or in alignment with that purpose, I'm cutting it out. So for the next 5 to 10 years, I will focus on being a speaker, a trainer, an author.
So what is very key and what is very powerful is purpose.
Yes, sir.
Without purpose, then everything is lacking to
Where purpose is not known, Miles Monroe, the late Miles Monroe.
Yes.
Where purpose is not known, abuse is guaranteed.
Wow.
And too many of us spend our entire lives sleepwalking through life, trying to figure out where we're supposed to go.
Yeah.
But if you come back and you ask yourself the questions, what would give me fun?
Yes.
What would give me fulfillment?
Yeah.
And then how can I get paid operating in fun,
Yes.
operating in fulfillment with my natural gifts, talents, skills? Then you're walking in purpose.
This is powerful. I want to go into some quotations. What's a quotation or a quote which revolutionized your life, or what quote that you know that you've done?
What I say to people all the time is the issues and battles of life are won or lost in the mind.
Okay. I want to say that again.
The issues and the battles of life are won or lost in the mind. It's all about choice, about what I live my life now on purpose.
Right.
I determine what information comes between my ears.
Right.
I am conscious about who I surround myself with. I don't do negativity, can't. For example, I love my family very much. But the amount of time I allow myself to spend with them, because I don't want them to infect me with negativity. Okay? So I'm a reader. And I'll say it again, readers are leaders. Those that don't read will always depend on those that do read.
Have you heard that? I want to say that again, Charles.
Those that don't read will always depend on those that do read. Those that don't read have no advantage over those that can't read. Readers are leaders. If you want to lead, make sure you read.
That's very awesome. Well, Charles, listen, I'm not going to wrap up yet because I want to sort of recap a couple of things. And what I really capture from this inspirational talk is about purpose.
Yes, sir.
And I also understand about against all odds.
Yes, sir.
Going through the challenges against all odds, and also about being an overcomer. Right? And that is very important that we need to understand about overcoming, you know. And Charles, listen, I want to thank you so much for coming. And ladies and gentlemen, to find out more about Charles, visit our website. We'll have his details up there. www.SYLBOURNE.com. You can find that information. But Charles, one more thing. The election is about on us, and you don't have to tell me about which your party is, but
I can tell you.
What do you see as young people, the youth role in elections in this? Because there's this apathy, just briefly, I always like to bring in that bit there, about young people's role in elections.
First of all, I understand why young people don't vote. If you don't see yourself in the person, it is hard to get excited about the vote. Last thing I want to talk about is just leadership. 2 quotes very quickly. You can't lead people if you don't love people. And you can't save people if you're not willing to serve people.
Yes.
So the only two questions to ask is, what is the depth of your love?
Yes.
And what is the quality of your service?
So what motivates you?
So,
Yes.
yeah, that's it. So lead with love, and before you try and save people, serve.
Yes.
So you've got to understand who it is
Yeah.
you say you represent.
Yes.
And one of the biggest challenges I find with the politicians
Yes.
is they don't have an understanding of the people they're trying to lead.
To lead. And that's why they're buffering against each other, trying to
Absolutely.
see the letter of the evil. Well,
Absolutely.
ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And Charles, it was a pleasure.
Thank you
For the show.
Congratulations. Keep up the great
Good
work.
work. And of course, with some of these books, of course, you know, we will be, people can get all the information of them for these.
CharlesEmeka.com, Amazon, so on and so forth.
Fantastic.
Cool.
Good. Pleasure.
Thank you.